In this episode, we sit down with Matthew and Alan of Plugged In Electrical to hear the story behind their growing business and strong partnership. They share how their faith, family values, and commitment to stewardship shaped their company culture. We dive into the challenges of partnership and why clarity and accountability are key. This is a company we've seen double in size since our partnership started, and their story is one worth hearing. Thank you guys for being willing to come on and
You're welcome. Glad
participate in this podcast. Y'all have done a lot of firsts for Harbinger, so I really appreciate you jumping in and joining us today.
Okay.
I want to start out by asking you to tell your story. How did you guys start your company?
You want to go first?
Well, from the very beginning, we met working for another contracting company. How long has that been?
20 years.
So y'all work together?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bounced around a couple different companies in that time. We came up under a guy that was really motivated to help us get our license. And we both got our license within, a few months of each other. And kind of came up with the idea to start up our own business based on, our values.
So how long did y'all talk about doing that before you actually took concrete steps towards it?
Actually, like when we were getting in the license process, he was going to start his own thing. I was going to start my own. And I started to go toward this other guy that I knew that kind of mentored me in electrical a little bit, but not the most significant role in my life. But he was like, man, don't go into business with that guy. And I was like, well, what am I supposed to do? He's like, and then we just kind of, let's go into business together. And it just kind of hatched that way. And that's been kind of our story, all through then till now. But we worked for another company, bounced back and forth a few times. I'd go, he'd go, I'd go, come over here.
Would you follow each other?
Yeah, it's better here, better there. And really what you find out is after the honeymoon phase, it's the same thing with a different picture on it.
Were these companies residential electrical companies?
Yeah, they did both, but primarily residential. Yeah. So finally, I wound up getting fired from the place we were at because I was not unwilling to do the unethical things they were asking.
What kind of unethical things were those?
So there was I don't want to run them through the mud, but there was...
You don't mention any names.
Yeah, there was a thing where Truth in Lending Act, I think there was a gross misunderstanding of what that meant. So they implemented financing. Well, they wanted to charge all their customers the same interest rate because it was supposed to be same as cash. So we were charging people 19% interest because that's what their finance pulled. So I was just like, I'm not doing it. Well, they started taking it out of my check, and I just still wouldn't charge it. So I wound up getting fired from there, and we had started hatching, the business together anyway. The manager there knew that we were trying to do that, but the owner wound up telling him, you got to cut this guy loose. He's just not listening. Which I'm okay with a little disobedience when it comes to, guarding the ethics and, what we hold true in our hearts. So anyway, I went out first, and I remember being out on unemployment for a week or two, and he's calling me. He's like, you doing any work yet? I'm like, no, dude, I need a minute to take a beat. He's like, I kind of want to leave here. So wound up doing that for a little bit, running call, and it took legs way faster than we ever thought.
So how many years were y'all in that process of knowing each other before that happened?
5.5, probably.
5 years, yeah.
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 But yeah.
Yeah. So as in that process of bouncing around the different companies, we had left this large company, went up to the one he got fired from. And then from there, we wound up leaving, going to another company. And then we had already started up the business at that point.
Okay.
We came back to that company and were honest with them on the front end. Most of their business was on the north side of town. What we were doing was
South side.
Down here on the south side of town. But with them knowing that, I think that probably was some of the catalyst for pushing him out the door. And
yeah.
Same with me. There was just stuff going on behind the scenes that we weren't being treated right. We'll just say that. But the unethical things.
Is that normative, do you feel like, in the industry?
Unethical? I mean, there's a lot in our industry that's given a bad name as far as high pressure sales tactics and, selling things that don't necessarily need to be sold. So that is partly normal, but this particular business owner was just, it was greed. I mean, best way I can explain it, but yeah, so we started the business, and like I said, it grew fast. We were together all the time, and this did not come without lumps financially and relationship-wise, but...
Well, peel back the curtain on that a little bit, because imagine someone in your shoes that they're thinking about starting their own business. All the questions, all the risks that they're calculating. What was that like for you guys in terms of the capital investment involved, the conversations that had to be had at home? Like, what was that like?
So we started, I guess, after doing some side jobs with $5,000 in our bank account. I think by the time you left that company, and there was a lot of, just jumping into it, I want to say with reckless abandon, just all in with it. And I don't know that we actually counted the cost all the way. I had a new baby, he had children. So there is those things like, how can we provide for this? And it just worked out.
And is the way y'all, I guess, at the end of the month, figure out what's left over, what you can pay yourself? Is that kind of how it was done?
It's starting out, yeah. It was, are we going to make a paycheck this week? Yeah. There were some of those weeks, and we were blessed the whole time. We knew, like, we really gotta put our nose to the grindstone and get after it to make a paycheck, and we were always blessed in those moments.
In that early startup phase, like what fueled the top of your pipeline of projects and work? Where did it come from?
Lead generation type stuff where, you pay for, everybody gets to bid on a lead, you get it, and whoever gets to it first gets the job.
Highly stressful. We're in the middle of doing a job. You have a lead pop up on your phone. You stop what you're doing. You have to be the first to reach out to that lead, or you just paid for it and some other contractor's headed to it.
Like Angie's List type thing?
Yeah, there was a company before them too, but we did a lot of Angie's List coupons for a while. But lead generation just was not it. And I think we realized that fairly quickly, that you can't do cut rate business and grow a business.
Yeah.
The two just are not simpatico. So, but yeah.
What was it like in that, just, again, I don't want to ask too personal questions, but I think that entrepreneurs, especially, whenever I hear, talk to young business owners that are either doing a side hustle or they're in the thought process of starting the business, calculating those financial implications and that risk with having children, with having those responsibilities. How did you navigate those waters and those conversations?
There's one thing that happened with me working with another company that was just, I vowed it wouldn't happen again. And I really never looked back after this. And I'd say, like him, we ran into it with reckless abandonment. But I had a daughter's birthday, and I was out working, trying to be done with this job by a certain time to get home for her. We had a party, people coming over. This customer just kept adding things on, and I just couldn't get out of there. I got home late, and she was more upset than I was that I couldn't be there. Not that I wasn't there, but she wanted me to be there, and I was just like, there's more to it than, just being at work. Yeah. So we went in it with family first, and the only thing I can think of is we were blessed to come through it like we did.
Yeah.
We definitely took our lumps, but, we've always pulled through.
And we've been pretty hard-nosed with that same mantra throughout, even with our employees. Like, we don't work weekends. Just not going to happen. On-call is like almost non-existent, because we want to set those, parameters around, like, you have a life outside of plugged-in electrical. Because we make it a priority for us, so I can't do that and then say, you need to not make your life a priority outside of work. So that's been pretty integral in ours. There's a temptation to run weekends and run on call and, work people until midnight, but I want my guys home before dinner time. I do not want them out working through dinner, missing soccer practice, missing all those things. So that's been pretty instrumental, but go ahead.
I was going to say, you talked about lumps. Both of you use that word. What were some of those early stories, those hardships that you pushed through, that you were able to learn from?
One of the biggest things that comes to mind was the marketing.
Oh yeah.
Just it takes time to build an online presence and through SEO and all of that. And every time we would, find somebody we think we're okay with what we could, within our means, our budget, it just never seemed to go anywhere for us.
Some of it maybe even got taken advantage a little bit, spent money for nothing.
So, you fast forward, I'd say that's the biggest thing that we probably wasted money on in the past was just that and time, trying to let those things develop and grow our presence. And then, once we found you guys, like there's no looking back. I mean, we were in the wrong place the whole time. We knew it immediately. So.
And thanks for saying that.
Oh, yeah. We didn't get paid to say that.
Yeah, it's very true. When we talk to especially a lot of businesses early on in their journey, marketing, because it's so behind the scenes and it's so technical often, it's easy to cast a vision of what these services and the value and kind of a pipe dream, but delivering and actually making it happen and delivering an ROI is a different thing entirely. And I remember when we audited the stuff that you guys were paying for, we were shaking our heads being like, man, this isn't good.
I think having those experiences, though, just made what you guys do that much more valuable, knowing like the other end of it.
Yeah.
Being made these promises and nothing coming to fruition and seeing it actually coming to fruition in front of you and just all of the data you guys, mystify us with.
Yeah.
But
well, while we're on the topic, I don't want to spend much time here, but I would love, so when we give people your number and say, hey, call these guys, they'll tell you what it's like. What kind of things do you share?
I actually had one of those recently. They called and, hey, is it, it's expensive is what you hear. And in anything, a car or whatever, everything's expensive nowadays. But it's like, it's not expensive. It's what it costs to deliver what's delivered. If I want a Mercedes, I can't buy it for a Honda price. So the money's well spent. And the other thing for me is being a Christian was this company is a company of faith. You get a Christmas card. It's got verses from Luke on it. It doesn't say ho, 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 Merry Christmas with a candy cane on it.
Yeah.
So that your business is backed by that fundamental core belief in the Lord. So for us, like that's an easy reference to somebody, especially if they're a believer. Like these are solid believers. This isn't nominal Christianity. It's not anything like that. These are men and women, many of whom I go to church with, that mean it. So that's huge for me as a business.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what Harbinger is.
Yeah.
Harbinger of the gospel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I want to go back to learn a little bit more about some of those hardships. Not to drag you back to those painful places, but I will say I know from my journey, it's the hardships that I've gone through that have taught me the most. What are some of those hardships besides wasting money on marketing that you look back on and you're like, I learned a valuable lesson at this moment?
I'll say initially, I was 28 when we started our business. You were how old? 30? 36?
33.
30. Anyway, the learning how to be in a relationship with somebody, especially two men, you got your pride and all those things, but learning him and him learning me and where to push and where not to push. And we lumped through that a little bit. I mean, never anything more than words, obviously, but just learning how to be in a relationship with someone else. Like you have a wife at home and you have to learn, how to navigate that water. That's no different. I mean, it's a marriage when you're in a business partnership. So,
what advice would you give to people that are entering into that partnership? What questions should they be asking themselves? What should they be asking ahead of time?
Well, they're entering into a covenant, and are you, no matter what happens, are you willing to honor that covenant? Because there are going to be things that come up that are going to test you in your relationship with that person. So, are you all in?
Right. Can you lay your pride aside and say you're sorry or you're wrong or, all those things? Just much like with your wife, sometimes you got to put your tail between your legs and apologize for something you didn't, in the moment you felt right in, just you got to put it aside. So.
And I mean, in total, how long have y'all been partners at this point?
This is 15 years, I think.
15 years.
Yeah, right there, somewhere around there.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've seen partnerships go really well, and I've seen them go really poorly. But you guys seem to be on the same page with a lot of things.
Yeah, everything I heard was don't get into a partnership, but it's been great. I don't have any complaints today.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
It's today.
I've interviewed people who've said that, but I've also interviewed people who, they went through the journey, the hardship alone. They said, I'll never do that again. I want to have someone to do it with. Because I'm sure there's covering for each other. Allows probably for more of that work-life, family balance. If you got someone who's got your back and y'all both cover for each other.
Right.
Yeah. And
it's got to be huge.
Filling in each other's weaknesses is huge too. He's very sometimes granular in his approach to understanding things, where I'm more big picture. We can both dance in both worlds, but it makes for a complete picture where he's going to watch the numbers real hard and I'm just looking at what do we have left over, Same thing on a job. He'll be very focused on the minute details, but I want to keep track of the big picture. So that's...
How'd y'all do that early on? Because again, my goal is when someone is hearing this, that they would be inspired, because I think that businesses starting and thriving and running the right way are going to bless people's lives. And you offered our mission to be a catalyst for growth, because thriving businesses foster thriving individuals. And I know that the guys who work for you, they're thriving more,
right? Because
you two took a risk. So if you think about someone that's in that process of dividing responsibilities in a partnership, how did y'all handle it? Was it, hey, you're going to handle the books, I'm going to handle project management? How did you divide it? Was it clear, or was it?
I wouldn't say it was it wouldn't be crystal clear from the outside, but it was clear to us. In the beginning, you have these 10 bills you're paying for. Well, he's like, I'll take this, this, and this. You take that, that, and that. You pay it, I'll pay it. It'll be paid. I don't have to worry about it. He's really good at larger jobs, managing expectations of designers and contractors. So he handles a lot of that. I do it too, but that's his strong suit. Yeah. That's part of it.
Yeah, I know we were told by several people you need very clear delineations of job duties, who's going to handle what, and we never did that. We didn't get granular with it, writing it out. These are your duties. These are my duties. We've just kind of always ran by. Where one was slacking, the other would pick up the slack and pick each other up. So I think in doing that too, when you're not having specific duties when one person is absent for a time, it's not an issue to take care of those duties.
Right.
So. Tell me about the very first time that you decided, and y'all had the conversation, it's time to hire a third person.
Ooh, there was a long time, a lot of conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's very scary, and not from just having somebody to manage, but when you take on an employee, you take on their family.
Right.
Now I have to provide for this person to provide. So a lot of those conversations, man, can we really hire somebody and support them in being able to support their family?
Yeah.
So that's a big one. But
what was the tipping point
for hiring somebody? When you're just too overwhelmed with business and you need that relief.
Yeah.
I would say that was
it. I don't know, even to this day, when it comes to growing, it's always still a little bit scary, just because, like he said, when we take somebody on, it's not like a temporary thing. We take them on as full-time, and we're going to be able to, have that person provide for their family, their household. And so we want to make sure that that's there, that's available. But you do start to feel mounting pressure. You just know it's time. So
we've had some bad hires. We've mismanaged employees.
Those have been some of the biggest lumps.
Yeah, stewarding your business well and knowing that if somebody is not effective at their job, I think it's on your wall. Clarity is kindness, being clear right out the gate with somebody's responsibilities, and when they don't do them, being clear that they're not doing them. It's so easy to delude yourself into thinking you're doing your job because no one's telling you any different, So that's a lot of lumps we've taken.
Hiring friends, it's difficult to manage friends.
Yeah. And family, which that's a clear no-no, but I did it. So. One of our best employees is my sister-in-law, though. I'd have to say that. She's absolutely outside the norm, just like business partnership people tell you are bad, but she's been great. So,
yeah. With tell me more about the hard conversations, the not working, not cutting. I mean, what was that like the first time you had to do that?
Like it's somebody else not holding up their end?
Yeah. No, like an employee.
Oh,
well, I mean, doing that for the first time, it's difficult.
They were a lot harder before I came to faith because I ran off at the mouth a fair amount and let my emotions get the best of me. But they're never easy. They're uncomfortable. But anything that causes growth is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right.
So growth and comfort rarely coexist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Has the marketing working and you being able to quantify it made it easier to take that risk for you guys?
What, to hire somebody?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's a confidence level that we know, hey, we have our ebbs and flows throughout the year, and they're pretty trackable based on, marketing, and we see the charts from you guys. And, yeah, we know that we're going to do, or we have done this much this last year. We can safely bring this person in, if all things remain the same.
Yeah, I mean, there's been stability over the several years we've been with you all that, we can count on, that's going to be there. So it's not as scary to bring somebody on as it was in the past. But some of that fear, too, is is this you're going to invest the time into this person to bring them up to your, what you expect, your standards. And then, or first off, are they going to do that? Or, after you put that investment into this person, or they're just going to take that and run with it. So there's some of that, but.
How long does it typically take to take someone that's new and not just teach them how, but teach them like the way you do it, the right way?
I'll let you know when we find it.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I would say if they're green, never done electrical work, 3 to 5 years before they're, effective to get out there and be on their own to really just, flourish and be able to do these things without our direct oversight on every job.
So you're making a long-term investment with these hires.
Yeah. And then if you have somebody that knows what they're doing, do they know how to do it the way that our standard is?
Yeah.
And are there ethics of our standards? Because we've hired people that, after they leave, you see what they have, quoted that shouldn't have been quoted, and you start to question jobs that you've done that didn't maybe need to be done. And so you got to be able to recognize that too.
That's another lump. As you start hiring people, putting people in positions of authority, then as a business owner, you may be tempted to step back some, and do other things. And that's one of the biggest things he and I are learning, that we never should have done, taking our hand off the pulse of the business and knowing exactly what's going on day to day in the field.
Right.
Instead of just...
You can over-delegate, right?
Right.
Too soon.
Right.
Without there being the trust that's required.
Right.
Yeah.
And then holding the feet to the fire of those you delegate to.
Yeah.
Right.
I say one of the scariest things that we had to do, the biggest risks we took other than going out on our own, was during COVID, all the free money people were getting. And we decided early on, we just felt like there was something not right about that. And we never took $1 of the COVID, what do they call it? Stimulus or whatever it was. We never took any of those loans because we just didn't know what the back end looked like for us. And then also your children and your grandchildren, like, what is this borrowed money that's free?
And thankfully we weren't in a position where we needed it.
Yeah, we survived it, came through it. Many people I know took it, and nothing against them for taking it, but we just didn't think we could do it. And that's a risk, when you could take a couple $100,000 and get relief. But
I imagine during COVID, for a lot of the home service companies we work with,
oh yeah,
if our home, it probably brought a boom to your business a little bit.
yeah, and created a lot of awkward, the masks and
Yeah.
can't come in the house, and I'll stay 40 feet from you while you fix my outlets. And
Yeah.
that was very awkward.
Yeah. Going back to your team, you talked about the goal that you have for them, the guardrails you put around the time and weekends and stuff like that to protect their family. How do you go about developing those standards of like what you want your company culture to be like?
From our side, or to develop the employee that way?
Really both. Like, where did it come from in terms of like, where did it start with? Like, why? Because you didn't have to do that.
Right.
So why did you choose to do that? And then how did you implement that practically?
Well, like he said, the first company we worked for together, your family was not a priority. Not our priority, but the company's priority. You would work 60 hours a week easily.
My wife was going into labor. I was on the north side of town, and they knew she was close, and she calls and says her water broke. Her mom's taking her to the hospital. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna head home. Oh man. Well, we need you to hit just one more call. It's that kind of stuff, and
you miss anything, and it just formulates that. I couldn't imagine missing that,
So that shaped, how we felt in those moments. We didn't want our employees to feel that way. We wanted them to be, thankful for having a place to work that valued family and home life. So that was huge. And then the other things just kind of come along as you go. Like last year was the first year we were able to give all of the employees off. We normally take off between Christmas and New Year's, just focus on the family at that time. And we were able to do that for all the employees and, awesome. Pay them through that time. So, I guess as we grow, that's growing with us as well, being able to implement more things that focus on the family.
Yeah.
Any other things come to mind in terms of like how you've instilled those values in your team members? Imagine that person that has just hired maybe first 2-3 employees, and they're trying to ask themselves like, how can I make this a good culture? How can I ensure my people thrive? Like, what wisdom would you perhaps give them?
I think you lead that by example. You're showing your family as a priority, and in that witness, they'll see, oh, okay, this guy makes this as a real priority for him. Most people don't want to work late, but they do want to make a lot of money. So if you pay your employees well and they're productive and you have a good back and forth in that way, then it's not so bad not to work that extra 4 hours,
So how have you all done that well? How have you put guardrails on yourself to make sure that you're having a good work-life balance at all the things you're accountable for? I mean,
yeah.
I know growing a business is not easy. Takes a lot of effort. Like you said, y'all are all in.
Yeah.
How'd you maintain that with family, with kids?
Well, one is the accountability to each other we made this, like the Christmas thing every year without fail. Like there's temptation sometimes, oh, we should work. And it's like, so we wouldn't do that. Hold each other to that. When you make something a priority, make it a priority. Don't compromise. I mean, if you think about a structure, if you compromise the structure, it falls. So if you're making this commitment to each other or to your employee, you got to keep it. I think I might have missed half of the question in that answer, but I tried.
No, you answered it.
Okay.
You answered it.
I would add on to that by, being in a partnership where we can see one of us is, getting to a burnout period or something like that. It's like, just take a couple of days. And
those still happen.
They do. Yeah.
So open it up a little bit. If you just had that person starting that business, what advice would you give them? What advice have you gotten that you're like, that was good advice?
Don't use your business as a piggy bank.
Tell me what that means.
You got to steward the funds well. You don't want to just, most people say, oh, run everything through the business. Like there are things that you can run through your business legally. Some people do them illegally, whatever. But don't just treat it's not a big piggy bank to break open and just use for whatever you want to.
So the business needs the resources to grow. Yeah.
It has to have capital, working capital to grow. And if you're just draining it dry, you're not doing anybody any good. It's gonna die. So that was advice we got very early on, was do not use your business as a piggy bank.
Yeah. Having that capital there, you never know. You may have an opportunity come up, but where you've got to, have that there to get this job started, a lot of material costs and all of that, and without going into debt, taking out loans and all of that, having the working capital.
Yeah, try not to take loans if you don't have to. I mean, some vehicles we've had to do that over the years. We bought vehicles cash, but other than vehicles, don't borrow money if you can help it.
Right.
You're just locking yourself in a cell with that.
I read a book before we started, and it was the Quitter. I believe it was John Acuff, and it was something that Dave Ramsey recommended. If you're going to leave your job, read this book, and just will give you some helpful hints. And one of the biggest thing that stood out to me is, like when you go out into business for yourself, you still have a boss, and that's your financial obligations. They're going to breathe down on you harder than any boss ever had.
That's good.
So being able to not put yourself in good situations, and being able to avoid the bad ones where you're going to have a bad boss, like taking out a loan for whatever to fund a job, and something falls through, you don't finish the job. You've still got that boss, needing to get his
What was that book again?
The Quitter.
Quitter.
Yeah.
That's such a great illustration. I've heard it said this way. I've shared it with our team, that the marketplace has very high standards, and it's going to hold us accountable to it.
Yeah.
Greater than any one of on our management team might be able to do. The marketplace is going to be more critical, and towards your point, the financial obligations are that much more real than with working for someone else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, if it's something you're thinking about doing, just make sure you're prepared. Something in that book was to not put yourself in these potential bad situations. Is make sure you're ready when you do go. And that means, having that capital built up to where you can say, all right, this is a good opportunity. I'm going to take it. This is not so great of an opportunity, but I have to take it. So being able to make those choices really is going to put you in a much better position,
I guess also being willing to make yourself the first paycheck that doesn't go out if necessary. We, thus far, praise God, have never had to not take a paycheck since taking on employees, but there's been a couple times where we've been close, just waiting on money. Not necessarily you didn't have the work, but it's a contractor and they're waiting to pay you or whatever it is. But you have to be willing to do that, because if you don't pay your employees, they don't come to work.
They'll go somewhere else.
Yeah, I got to come to work regardless.
Yeah.
So that's a big one.
Yeah. But I mean, tying back to the culture, I think that helps. Even in stressful situations. Work can be stressful as employees get stressed out. Having that culture of, being focused on the family. That's just it's not. They can go anywhere they want to go, but they're not going to get the same culture. So that's just been huge for us to focus on for employee retention.
100%.
Yeah,
it's huge. And it really excites me in terms of our mission and vision. There was a HVAC company that we worked for early on. And they had an amazing year. It was like the owner told me it was back-to-back record-breaking years. They got to hire more people, and it was a good HVAC company. Kind of like you were talking about, they don't just hire people and lay them off. He looked at it as a commitment. The HVAC space, hire them for the summer, lay off in the fall, and that kind of thing.
Right.
But I was at their Christmas party, and they had 3 new employees and their families there, and they talked about it being a record-breaking year. And it was really encouraging just to hear, because it obviously felt good for me. But then the office manager was next to me, and she leaned over and said, see this family, that they're the new ones that are here because of that growth. And that's where really the the business model of Harbinger and that the mission came from, because I saw that if we can help small business thrive, it really impacts real people. You know?
Yeah.
And it was especially when we can do it for people like you who care about their employees and really want to do it for the right reasons. So I really respect you guys in that.
Appreciate it.
What you've built is amazing.
Thanks.
So what's the future hold for you guys? Like when you think about the next 5-10 years of business, what's on the horizon?
We'd love to get a little bit bigger, nothing crazy. Maybe three more trucks on the road. And we're back in the field right now. Some circumstances happened. We had to let somebody go, and we had to take over his job and our job. So it was necessary to put our finger back on the pulse of the economy and everything going on in the world. And I would like to not have to do that every day, but I still want to do it to keep my finger on the pulse.
Yeah.
Steady growth, I would say nothing explosive, because I just, from past experiences, when you have a boom, things will tend to get lost in that, and we don't want that to happen. So we definitely want growth, but not. It sounds
At the expense of your values,
Right.
Yeah.
what you're building, what you have. Yeah.
Right.
I can totally get that.
Yeah.
When you think about your business, we can end with this, and I kind of know the answer to the question, but like, how do you look at that as an extension of your mission and your faith?
That's a good. So since we've both been back in the field, there's every customer you go to, you want it to be an opportunity to talk to them about something in faith, to bring the Lord to them if they don't know him, to, like when we go to lunch with you guys, we'll talk about the Bible, whatever it is. But there's so many people that we go to that it's just so clear that they're either hurting or, they're lost or whatever. So it's not every single customer you get that with, but there's a handful that you just do that with. So every customer we go to is an opportunity for that. He kind of reinforced that to me here recently. So, and not being afraid of that, losing the job at the end of the day. If you don't get it, you don't get it. But that's huge for us.
Yeah, all of the opportunities to share our faith and learn from others that are in the faith as well. Those opportunities really, to me, I'd say in the past year, mean more to me than being awarded the contract. So
It's one of the things I most respect about you guys, and I love hearing. It's just so like-minded in that way. And I'm curious, is there any stories that come to mind where you've been able to so clearly, evidently see God's hand upon your business and in your walk?
From the beginning, but all retrospect.
Really?
He and I would have told you coming up that we were Christians. I mean, we both said it. We talked about God, as most people in the world do, I guess. But like him getting licensed us getting licensed within a few months of each other, we both got baptized within like a week of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And God was working that from the back, like from the beginning. I mean, I'm going to put these two men together for a reason. We didn't know why. We just liked each other. We're best friends.
Yeah.
Now we're brothers. But then walking us through, like, I'm going to church, he's going to church. Wasn't something we really talked about in depth. And then I'm talking to him on the phone. I was like, yeah, man, I'm thinking about, I'm going to get baptized in the middle of February. And he's like, really? Me too. It's like, why didn't we talk about this?
Right.
Why didn't we share this with each other? And then, God put that together at the same time to where this is a priority for both of us. It's not a battle of like, well, I'm a believer, you're not a believer, all that kind of stuff. So our vision and what's on the horizon, we're all supposed to run the race, run it like you're going to win it. So we're in the same race side by side. And that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
How has that changed the way you look at your business?
Stewarding it.
Yeah, stewarding it. It's not ours. It's God's. It's a blessing to us to be able to steward it, but it's getting deep. But just, that reliance on God, and the faith, knowing that He's got us.
That's awesome. That's one thing that I think so few people get to hear about, and so I really appreciate you sharing. Because like you said, it's not ours. Everything we have in life, regardless of even someone's belief, we didn't get to choose our parents. We didn't get to choose being born here. We didn't choose all the blessings, the skill sets. None of those things are our choice. They're all a gift to be, like you said, stewarded.
Yeah.
Any final wisdom? Anything I didn't ask about that I should have asked about? Any wisdom you would impart to other business owners? Encouragement?
Marketing is extremely important.
Good marketing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's been night and day for us since we joined up with you all. So that's if you're thinking about starting a business, interview some marketing companies, interview Harbinger. You won't be disappointed, but making that a priority in your business, starting your business, so you don't start off on the wrong foot.
Yeah. What difference did that make when we launched that amazing website?
Yeah.
As far as financially, like what was our biggest year prior to that? 600?
Yeah.
I think our biggest year was 600,000, and then the next year was like 900, and then the next year was 1.2, right?
I think
or
so.
$1 million and then 1.2.
Yeah. That's it.
So our business is, you use that number, it's doubled,
Right.
and without as many of the, roller coaster. It's been a lot more steady. So, we've doubled our business, which is huge for any business.
Yeah, and I mean, with you guys, it's not the deafening, mystifying talk. It's like actually putting action to your words and seeing that, in our numbers, that it's actually being done and it's working.
And if your marketing company is not willing to sit with you and explain the things and show you the reports and the transparencies and the historical data, like he said, sometimes it's like, okay, here we go. I don't understand this, but it's all of value and it's all written down. It holds you guys accountable to us and us to you and all that. But having a company that doesn't just draw a check from you and say, how's it going this month? I don't know. Don't you know that? I mean, you might want a heartbeat of what it's like on the ground, but you see it from your side and you show it to us, because sometimes we don't even really, know like, well, how effective is this?
Right. Yeah.
So,
What's it like working with Sal?
I love Sal.
Sal's awesome. Yeah, it's been great.
We've had a couple of marketing directors, and I don't think we ever had a bad one, but this one, Sal, when he came into the picture, it was just business changing for us, because he'll come in, he'll talk with us, on a deeper level before we ever get to business. It might cost him 30 extra minutes of his day, but he's a brother of ours. Like, we love this guy. I've had him over for dinner. It's not just a transactional relationship. So
he actually feels like he's your marketing director, not just an account manager.
Right.
well, he's my friend. But at the same time, doing his job fully, not just using, this is a friend, I got to cut him a deal or whatever. He's still doing his job fully and being a really good friend.
Yeah.
So, which, I think that's rare in the world today, but I've seen it several people here at your company that I have very close relationships with that I didn't know prior to joining here, but now they come to I go to the church they go to, which they knew me before I was saved, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
A couple of weird conversations.
Yeah, Sal does a really good job of, anytime we talk with him or, we're back and forth through email or whatever that, we feel like we're his only client.
That's a fact.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying all that. I really appreciate it. High praises, and I know Sal appreciates it, and I really appreciate it. Thank you for just being so open and transparent and sharing your story. I know that everyone listening probably picked up 3 or 4 nuggets of wisdom. I know I did. So thank you for your time today.
Thank you for having us.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Thanks for plugging in.